Welcome back to Star News. I'm very honored to have Sheriff Steve Draper of Martinsville with me today. We're going to be talking about a program that I have to say I'm pretty fascinated with. I went out with the crews, the inmate workforce, and first of all, I didn't know they worked county and city.
They do, yes, sir.
I learned all kind of things. But Steve's going to tell me a little bit more about this program. We've been doing a special feature with the instructors and everything with this. But tell me what we're seeing right there.
Well, what we're seeing now, this is a county work crew. That's the county truck. This was the thing that Benny Summerlin and I put together several years back. At our city farm, we do house a couple of county inmates. So these county inmates are taken out by a supervisor out into the county, and they pick up trash, and they do work. They'll mow grass, but most of what they're doing now is picking up trash.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you go down 220 or go down one of the busy highways and you see the orange bags tied up and sitting on the side of the road, usually that's the county work crew that has dropped those off and filled them up and dropped them off, and then VDOT will come by and pick up the bags later.
Mm-hmm.
But they go out every day, Monday through Friday, and pick up trash. If any citizen has an area that they see that is trash, a lot of trash to it, if they'll give us a call, we'll make sure that they try to go to those particular areas. But we only have the one work crew that goes out in the county,
right,
consisting of about 4 or 5 inmates. We have several work crews that actually go around the city.
Well, but this is an example of county, city working on a project together.
Yes, sir. This is something, as I say, Benny and I put together, and it's been ongoing success. I think it's helped both localities. What we try to do is do everything we can to beautify the streetscape, the gateway coming into the community.
Tell me what we're seeing here.
Okay, now we're seeing, it looks like city, this is some of the city work is picking up some bulk trash. We do help with the city's bulk garbage pickup every quarter, or every time. Actually now, instead of a quarter, it used to be every quarter, now it's every, on your garbage pickup day in the city, if you call ahead and let Public Works know you've got bulk trash to pick up, our crews will come up of course we don't drive the truck, city crew drives the truck. But if you see anybody with the orange on, that's usually an inmate.
Right.
And we usually, like on the back of a refuge truck, you'll see a city employee, and you will see an inmate. We work one of each.
Well, one of the things that was impressive to me was how cooperative and nice the inmates were. I mean,
the inmates, Charles, they feel it a privilege to go out and work, and
right,
they do a great job. I think most of us like to work.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, most of our offenders are younger,
mm-hmm,
and it's better to go out and work than be sitting somewhere and can't do anything.
mm-hmm.
And of course, my philosophy when we started the work crew back in about 1997. Deputy Roy Prillerman was very instrumental in starting the program with us, and what we said was I did not want my inmates or my offenders sitting around. Taxpayers are having to feed them, clothe them, pay for the medical, pay for the food, then they ought to have to work for it, and that's how we started the work crews. There's only certain inmates who we send out work crews. They've got to be nonviolent offenders. They can't be violent offenders. There can't be any security risk. They are the ones that are located at the city farm, which is a minimum security facility. As you can see now, we're real impressed with our greenhouse that we started last year. Roy started that. Daniel Brannick is our supervisor now since Roy is retired. Daniel's taken it over. Look at the plants that we've done. And I have to thank the Harvest Foundation for this greenhouse. It's a small greenhouse, but it's set down there for several years, not being used. Streetscape had used it for a while, and something came up and they didn't use it anymore. They had some problems with the filtration system. Inmates repaired the filtration system along with some city employee help, and we've got look at that. We're real excited about trying to get our own tomato plants,
right,
our own cabbage plants. We have several plants that we will start in the greenhouse and then transplant that we will actually use for food at the city farm.
One thing that amazes me about, after seeing your operation yesterday, it's almost like running a company.
It is. Yeah. And I hope that that's one of the things that we bring the business side of my past into the corrections field.
Right.
Is running it like a business. I always said you operate like a business. Now, granted, we're a nonprofit, but we do provide a service for the community that we think pays off.
Right.
I'd mentioned to you earlier, just since July 1st, if you think about it, with our work crews that we have provided across the city and the county, we have provided 440,000 man hours of labor And we pay these people $2 a day.
Right.
And a lot of people say, well, you got to pay them more than that. No, remember, we feed them, we have them play, they sleep there, they eat there, they stay there, we pay their medical. So
It's their choice too, right?
that's their choice. They
Yeah.
come out and work, and they do. We've got waiting lists for people that want to work.
Right.
But if you break that out into a $7.25 minimum wage rate that we would have to pay for that, you're looking at $320,000 already for this first 6 months of the fiscal
So
year.
it could be over $500,000.
It could be over $500,000 by July.
All right. I was really amazed. Now I understand that the city market, that they
Farmers market.
the farmers market, they
Yes.
needed new benches.
Yes, they need new tables,
Yep.
and this work crew that Daniel supervises, they took we've got a little workshop at the city farm. They took them down and they actually built some new tables. The tables look excellent. I think you've got some footage
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah.
They look great. They also repaired some of the ones that could be repaired. They actually repaired them and painted them. The other ones they actually rebuilt.
Right. Chamber of Commerce, I understand.
Chamber of Commerce, we've remodeled in there, we've painted, we helped them move some furniture around. I know that Amanda is very pleased with what they've done there. In Hooker Field, we do what we can to help at Hooker Field before the ball games start.
Snow time when it snows?
Snow, yeah, a lot of, like I was saying, this is a year-round work cruise. It's not just for summertime. During snow season, and we didn't have a lot of snow this time, but these guys are out 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. When the city crews are out pushing snow in the parking lots, these guys have shovels cleaning the sidewalks. We try to keep all nonprofits, like we'll be doing all the fire stations, both fire stations. We'll be doing City Hall. We'll clean the sidewalks in front of City Hall. We do everything we can to try to keep things cleaned up and keep things moving.
Right.
And again, it's free labor.
I know you probably don't like me saying this, but when I was interviewing Daniel, we watched the city crew unload and mow out in front of the courthouse and pack up within about 5 minutes of doing an interview with him. I mean, they were gone by the time we'd done an interview. And the thing is that they really look more efficient than any city crew I have ever seen.
Well, I appreciate it. It's a compliment. It's a compliment to Daniel and those guys. And
I mean, really.
And again, I think Daniel does a great job. Roy trained him right. I know he was very excited for the opportunity. He's done a good job. He continues to do a good job with these
Right.
work crews. And one of the other things that we do that a lot of people don't know about, we have a firewood program, and you can see them cut. We save all wood, all dead trees, and any kind of hardwood we can get. We take to the city farm. We call it the annex, so you'll hear me call it both, but we call it the jail annex instead of the city farm. But we carry it there. We split it. We stack it, and during the wintertime, people that cannot afford fuel oil or gas to heat their houses, if they go by social services and get a certificate, that we will actually give them a pickup truckload of wood,
Right.
as long as the wood lasts. And that program has been tremendous for us.
Right. One of the things, I have to put you in a category of a person that sometimes I think has a thankless job, because it's most people can go to work at 9 and go home at 5 and turn everything off. You can't do that. I mean, you're 24/7. If something happens wrong in that jail, you're called.
I'm up there a lot
Right.
of times in the middle of the evening, and
Right.
I tell every citizen, but I've even told my people, don't hesitate to call me. I'm so used to being woke up, and I can fall back to sleep pretty good. So if anybody needs me, I don't care what time it is, call. I will do whatever I can to assist you, and I usually don't have any problem falling back to sleep. But you're right, it does. It is times we have to get up in the middle of the night and go up. That's part of the job, and I knew it when I took it, and I've been very blessed, and I've been very honored to do it, and I feel very blessed that I've been able to continue to do it.
Right. I think sometimes the citizens need to ask, do we want to hire somebody who wants to do this job or somebody who just treats it like a job?
And I want to do the job.
Right,
And
right.
I have, like I said, I hope it showed.
Right.
The community has been so good to me. I hope I have been as good to the community as they have been to me.
I haven't heard many arguments that you don't do a good job.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean,
Thank
and usually you guys are in the lightning of the fishbowl.
Yeah, well, you can't please everybody all
Right.
the time,
Right.
and I've always said that. But again, we try very hard. Any of the nonprofits that contact us and ask us for our work to be done, we try our best to accommodate.
Right. So that's amazing. So really, I found out about a great service going on in our community, and we're going to be talking about this, and we're going to be talking to Daniel. Pronounce his last name,
Brennick.
Brennick. It's got to say it fast. Don't
Yes, Brennick.
you? And he is his brother works at the Speedway
He
too,
is
right?
Matt. Matt Brannick is at the Martinsville Speedway.
Right.
Yep.
I was super impressed with that guy.
He's good. Both of them. It's
Right.
a good family. Good
Right.
family.
Right. And he's passionate about this. And he said he loves his job. He told me, I love my job.
He does.
I mean, how many people say that? How many people say that every day?
Well, and if you watch, just like Roy did, but Daniel will be out there working with them, as you
Right.
probably saw.
Right.
I mean, he doesn't just sit in the truck and watch.
And they were genuinely nice to each other.
Yeah, they are.
It was a real. I could tell the inmates respected him, and that he respected the inmates. And one of the things, a lot of people sometimes look at inmates like they're not people. That's one thing I know you don't do.
They are people. They
Yeah.
are. That's why I try to call them offenders instead of
Yeah.
inmates.
Right.
You know, everybody. We're all human. I don't guess none of God's children have never made mistakes.
Yeah.
And these guys, I think it's so good for them to give the opportunity to. This is some type of rehabilitation. I
Yeah.
told you before we started. I know we don't have a lot of time left, but. You know, since we started these work crews in 1997, we've had several people that learned how to cut grass and learned how to trim trees and learned how to do some remodeling that have actually gone into a business. And I know
Wow.
5 that have come back to me and said, Sheriff, if it hadn't been for your work crew, I'd probably be back in jail, but now I'm out here. They're tax-paying citizens.
Right.
So that makes me feel good. But yes, they're I try to call them offenders, not inmates.
Right. And I think this is a time that they can reevaluate things. And stop it, you know, this opportunity gives them a time to go outside, but still they can be thinking about their future, don't you think?
And you know,
And they can be clean-headed.
a lot of times, you know, these guys work hard. They don't give us any trouble. And I guess the best part of it, get out there and work that hard, like you see them working on here. They sleep at night too. They don't.
Right.
They don't give you a hard time.
Right.
But there are the ones that are more of the maximum security people that we can't let out work. Unfortunately,
Right.
we just can't do it.
Right. But let me ask you, I mean, do you think rehabilitation is you see that more in the future?
I hope in the future, if I'm fortunate enough to get reelected, you're going to see a whole lot of work. We've already started putting a lot of work in what's called reentry. The reentry program is a big program that is good. That is big for Governor McAuliffe, and it's also big for Mark Herring, our Attorney General. And they are giving us some assistance in putting together a reentry program. And you're going to see more and more of what we do to prepare people to come out of jail. A lot of times the problem is when the offender comes out of jail, they don't have a job. They don't have an ID. They have a hard time getting a job because a lot of the things they don't have a place to live.
Right.
So what we're doing is we're setting up these programs, and when there's 6 months or less left on their sentence, that's when we'll start working with them to get them, prepare them to go back out in the
Right.
community and hopefully be a viable tax-paying citizen.
And when you know I'm a straight shooter when it comes to law enforcement. I talk about the good and the bad.
Yep.
I always tell the community I see you out answering house calls and all kind of things, and that's something you don't have to do.
I do not have to do it, but
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Storm, you know, I go out in storms.
Yeah.
Of course, you know, we all have most of the time if we got down trees, that's when I'm out, or it's a bad storm.
I remember recently we had a lady who burned up in her own house, and you were there.
Yeah.
But I have to respect that. I mean, because I'm sure you got plenty of administrative things that you could be doing.
Well, and again, I love my job. I love the community, and this is my way of giving back.
Right.
This way.
And even at the Speedway, I mean, our #1 branded, you're always there to help there too.
Yeah. Well, the Speedway is something that's always been dear to my heart, as
Oh,
I
yeah.
think everybody knows.
Yeah.
And I do enjoy working there. I do enjoy being a part of that. And as
Right.
long as I can, I will.
Right, you love it, don't you?
Love it. Yes.
Right, right.
Yes, put that adrenaline in your blood when you're over at the racetrack.
It's a big show.
It is a big show. It is a big show, and it brings a lot of money into this community, and I hope everyone understands that. Clay Campbell and his staff work so hard to bring that, and they want a first-class show.
Yeah.
And he worked so hard to bring a first-class show here, and that's what I always respected about Clay when I was working for him. And it's you know, nothing happened except this job got too busy for me to continue working at the racetrack. But even now, I still see him when I'm behind the scenes looking at him. He works so hard to put on a first-class show, and that's what he wants to do for this community. And as long as he does that, we're going to keep seeing that people come in here.
Don't you think he's responsible for getting us up to race events, keeping them?
Oh yes, there's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
He negotiated with them, and he's got a good relationship with I think the Commonwealth helped, but he had a good relationship with the people that were in charge and the people he could communicate with and negotiate with. So yeah, Clay's got a whole lot to do with us having the 2 events, and I think him continuing to put money back in our facility, just like his grandfather did, for him to continue to he supports NASCAR, he promotes NASCAR, and as long as he's going to do that, they're going to do what they can to help him, I think.
I know one thing you and I agree on is we got to promote that speedway every
We've
minute.
got to.
Yeah.
We need it. It brings a lot.
It's our brand.
People do not understand really how much money that place brings into here.
Right, and then we still have people who hadn't gone to the first race.
I still see that. That's amazing to me. I still see that.
That's like living at the beach and not going to the beach.
And please, we were talking earlier before we started on the air. Please, if anybody wants to go to a race at Martinsville Speedway, please go. But if you don't want to go to one of the big ones, you don't want the big crowd, go to the late model event, the Valley Star race, because it's
September 23rd.
September 23rd, that weekend. There's so much action. We have heat races. We have so much on the racetrack. It's so much excitement.
You're going to see somebody you know.
And you'll see somebody you know because they're local Saturday night racers.
Oh yeah. Steve, thanks so much.
Thank you, Charles. Appreciate it.
You do a good job.
Thank you.
Yeah. So anyway, if you're out seeing those inmate workforces, just stop and watch how efficient they are. Take some time. It'll amaze you. We'll be right back.